Karen, whatever.
Another witness, another instance of perjury, or instances, I'd say.
Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the channel if you have been here before, or welcome if it's your first time tuning in. Imagine, if you will, a large auditorium full of people. The requisite of these people being invited to this auditorium, this event in this auditorium, is that they need to be the most arrogant, condescending, rude, and obnoxious people that ever existed. So they've all gathered here, each one believing themselves to be the ultimate in insufferable. Well, my friends, you might feel that you know who these people are. I'm sure I've known a few of these people. We all have, right? And they're sitting in that auditorium. But all of a sudden, the world has been presented with this man right here. Judson Welcher. He has now entered that auditorium and has turned to every single individual in there and said, "Hold my beer." That's right, guys. We have all been acquainted now, or many of us have been acquainted with the winner, the person who has out obnoxious everybody else in that space, the prosecution's so-called expert witness. And after having met him, my faith in humanity is now once again shaken. It is shaken. If it weren't bad enough that we have Judge Sustani Canoni to have to contend with, if it weren't bad enough that we have had to sit through the prosecution's absolutely ridiculous case in chief, which as of this moment has just wrapped up. If that wasn't injury enough, the Commonwealth added insult to injury by ending their case in chief with the most absolutely horrible person that I've probably ever known. Check this out.
With the test subject in your blue paint test, the lacerations on Mr. O'Keefe's forearm would be oriented in a vertical direction.
Absolutely not. If you pull up my slide 117, it'll show exactly that it is like perfectly horizontal.
Do you know of any other location other than Trooper Paul's report that you could have got that drone into Trump?
No, I'm not sure I got it from the report. I recall getting it from the file. So this image is not in that report.
It's not my
Yes, it is. You asked me anything but the report. That image is not in that report.
All right, what can I say, guys? First off, I apologize for having to re-trigger any of you that had wanted to leave any semblance of Judson Welcher in your memory. However, we're going to be tapping in today to what the jury thought and felt about this alleged star witness. Because if the Commonwealth, if the prosecution did not believe that Welcher was ultimately the Mac Daddy of all their witnesses, they would not have ended their case in chief with his testimony. The prosecution thought so highly of this unbelievably unbearable individual that they hailed him as an expert. They allowed him to, in my opinion, make a mockery of John O'Keefe's potential last moments of his life. They allowed this so-called biomedical, bioengineering, accident reconstructionist, whatever he calls himself, to adorn his clothing in blue paint. And speaking of the clothing, he actually went out and picked himself up an outfit that he believed was so close to that which was worn by John O'Keefe on the night he perished. You could not make up something this ridiculous, because if you did, most normal people would be like, oh, come on, stop. That's not true. And yet, this is what we were presented with over the last 2 days. of this Karen Read retrial. Anyway, guys, I am filming this video on Friday morning, just ahead of the defense presenting their first witnesses. Their case is now about to begin, and I know we are all here for it. We have suffered enough. We had to be especially punished by the last few days, and now we get to see what I call some actual evidence being put forth to this jury. But I could not resist wanting to know what impression the jury was left with after having sat through the agonizing hours of Judson Welcher. So today we're going to be working with the Paulina Tarot deck, and I'm going to get started with that right away. But before I do, if you have not as of yet subscribed to this channel, guys, please take a moment now and consider doing so. It's real easy, just hit that button. And if you would like to support this channel in any way, shape, or form, you can simply like this video, comment on this video, and or share it in places where you think others might also enjoy my content. And if the spirit moves, I also have other ways that you can help to promote and, of course, support me with super thanks, super chats. I also have Venmo, Cash App, and the like. Each one of you that has so far been able to bless me with your show of gratuity, I'm eternally grateful. And again, before we begin, guys, let's take a moment to do our mantra. This is a collective affirmation that I've asked you guys to participate in to assist Karen Read and her defense team with our positive energy. And so we say aloud, truth and justice for Karen Read prevails. Her freedom is now arranged. All right, guys, so apologies in advance for my voice cracking or being a bit hoarse. I've been suffering with a cold, but hopefully it will be out of here sooner than later. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the 18 people sitting in that jury box, what did they think of Judson Welcher? Did they believe him? Did they like him? Did he turn them off the way he turned off the majority of people watching this trial? The way he just wanted to control every moment. The way he interrupted Robert Alessi. The way he self-aggrandized. Let me tell you something, guys. I've known some egotistical people in my life, but the ego of Judson Welcher is unrivaled. Yeah, it is. Did the jury recognize that? What did they think? Let's check it out. Wow. 2 flipped out right away. The 7 of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Okay, let's keep going. Get a few more for this jury. See if we can't get a read. The 6 of Swords. Wow. And the Death card. None of these cards here, guys, are in the positive. We have 2 cards that represent maybes, 2 that represent no's. And so my first question is, did this jury collectively have a positive feeling about them after having listened to this man's testimony? And I'm getting no. Let's begin here with the Queen of Swords. There was at least 1, but definitely more, people on this jury, in this case, a female, that truly disliked this man, that truly disliked Judson Welcher. And you can see here by the look on her face, perhaps you can see it, you almost get the feeling that she is side-eyeing him, that with this sword she's wielding, that she's like, listen, any more of this nonsense and I am just going to like flip. Now, of course, this jury, via Sistani Canoni, has been admonished for showing any sort of reaction facially during the testimony, during the proceedings. But there was one woman in particular that I feel had a visceral reaction to Welcher. Not only did she dislike him, but she was like, I am not buying one thing he's saying. She's not buying it. Okay. And this particular juror is someone who I think others sitting there amongst those jurors or prospective jurors, I think others really like her. I think she appears to be a strong individual. I think she appears to be very bright, very intelligent, with the Queen of Swords. And those other jurors, and prospective jurors, of course, were watching to see what reaction she was having. And she wasn't having him. She deeply disliked him. Deeply. Now we have the Seven of Wands, the Six of Swords. So I'm going to look at this as something of a cross-section of the energy of those jurors. So let's see. We had about 7 of them that were like, make this stop. They were extremely challenged. The Seven of Wands is the challenge card. So here we have the representative of Welcher seated on that stand. And it appears that there are 2 creatures here beside him. And one has a skull and crossbones in its grasp. One has a very sharp, sharp wand. But each one of these wands beneath him are meant to do damage. And he hides behind this shield of his credentials. So he presents himself with this self-confidence that actually translates to braggadocious. And that, in and of itself, is something that I am hearing this jury did not vibe with. This is a younger jury pool. These people want to see real human beings, people that they can relate to. Not this insufferable man who came up there wielding his mighty wands with the sharp pointed edges, attempting to assert his control. They did not especially like that because the Seven of Wands is about defensiveness and control. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that assertion, that insistence of Welcher that he basically run the show. I mean, there were moments when Alessi was like, excuse me, I'm asking the questions here. Those moments were especially a turnoff to this jury. And at least 7 of these jurors weren't having it. They were not having it. Now we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is the card of leaving this behind, moving on, moving along. Transition. Okay, I believe there were 6 jury members, and these could be largely female, but not all. I believe not all females. In fact, I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here and predict that some of the male jurors felt as though they wanted to have 5 minutes alone with Welcher because they were like, who does this man think he is? The overall sensation was, move this guy on. Let's go. We're done. We're done with him. Now we have the death card. The death card. As far as this jury was concerned, Judson Welcher put the nail in the coffin of the prosecution's case. Not only did Welcher unknowingly assist the defense in their case, as far as this jury was concerned, or many of these jury members, they were like, well, Welcher just ended it for me right here, right now. This jury is done with the Commonwealth's mess. They are done with it. It's over. It's over and done with the death card. They are ready for a new beginning. They are anxiously awaiting for this case, this evidence to finally be placed before them. Evidence that does not strain credulity. Evidence that is something that they can actually sink their teeth into. Not the alleged garbage that has constituted the prosecution's case in chief. Okay, guys, so where is this jury right now? All right, so I'm going to ask for 1 card and 1 card only. So if more than 1 card flips, I'm not going to take them. I'm just going to keep going until one makes itself known. So what is the overall feeling of this jury right now? Okay. The 8 of Pentacles, guys. There's still work to be done here. There are at least 8 jury members that are anxiously waiting to see what the defense is going to present to them. Amazingly, they have not yet lost all hope. I believe at this particular moment in time, this morning, before they head back into that courtroom, they are so anxious, so ready to really get down to brass tacks, to really begin to learn what actually happened to John O'Keefe. To the defense team, they say, please bring us something that we can work with. Please give us something that we can understand, that makes sense, that's plausible. Help us to help your client. And that is the overall energy right now of that jury. Alrighty guys, I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm not going to release this video until after today's testimony so that you can all enjoy that. I'm sincerely waiting and looking forward to seeing who the first witness is going to be and who's going to be doing the questioning. And we will find out soon enough. And I will see you soon after, because we will have another look at what the jury is feeling in future uploads. And there's something very intriguing that I have been told via my guides. I will be sharing that concern with you in one of my next videos, so do stay close. Again, thank you for being here and take good care.